Oh, Christ almighty, since the entire crew's turned out, might as well kick this shit off, right? How's it going, everyone? I think I still got my fan on. Just give me a second. That's the only thing. Listen, I got my lights around, I got my mic turned on and all that stuff, but just left the fan on. It's a little warm in here right now, but shout out to you guys. So, yeah, it's not going to be a terribly long stream, but I think it's going to be pretty interesting because I've seen a whole host of people already react to this interview. I haven't seen it, to be completely honest. I haven't seen a second of it, and I'm just making sure that all my settings are properly turned up over here because, I don't know, for whatever reason, Rumble just immediately decides that, it would be great. How about we put this on potato quality and we'll just go ahead and run from there. But we got the two clips. We got the interview in full, and then his response from a couple of days later. But like I said, there was a bunch of response to this, or at least a bunch of reactions to it, mostly because, well, it's Tate. But then also, because I kind of find it interesting, because Andrew Tate comeback story, it's kind of mirroring that of Jordan Peterson. A little bit better, though. Quite a bit better, though. Because now he's starting to get all the big guns. From what I can tell, like I said, I haven't seen the interview. I'm going to be going in dry on this one. Pause. And you know what? We're going to be reacting to it afterwards. But everything that I'm seeing, well, it kind of reminds me of the Cathy Newman, Jordan Peterson clip. The "so you're saying," because you've just kind of got somebody who's at least got the sign off from a higher tier outlet. Think of what you will about the BBC. They still have a level of prestige about them, but Cathy Newman was with Channel 4, and we had the unedited, the full-length interview itself, and that's what we're getting over here this time around, because BBC would have loved to spin it in the way that they the best possible light that they could. So we'll see where it goes from there. But I seen Rookie was in here. I seen my boy Manu was in here. Of course, already talking with Meme because he's a fucking G, of course. So yeah, everybody's in here as well. I'm listening to Reggae Jungle D and D&B music. Is that cultural appropriate? Frankly, I don't fucking care. It's great music regardless, man. You just go ahead and you do you. And if it is cultural appropriation, I think that's another point in the based category. So that's good enough for me. It's saying we got drop frames again. I'm just going to make sure that it's nothing. Nope, no drop frames. Okay, that's just giving me the little warning. Because, yeah, I noticed Rumble was going a little bit flumpy. Just a little bit flumpy, but everything seems to be fine over the past couple of days. So, looks like it's recovered nicely, and it was just Sunday being fucking weird. So, that's alright. I don't need that, actually. It looks like everything is all live. I'm just going and bouncing between the two. It's about as... Yeah, no, I think we're good. I think we are good, and we might as well. Like I said, this isn't going to be a terribly long stream. We'll probably have you out of here a little bit past the top of the hour, and yeah, but I could also be stopping this a fair amount of times as well. So we're just going to go ahead and go with this one right here. We already got full screen, so shout out to you guys for turning it out. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I would have been, quicker off the hop on this one, but for the past, oh my god, the month or so, especially since the Dylan Mulvaney stuff really kicked off, the Bud Light shit, a vast majority of my day, a lot longer than I would want to admit, but I have to admit because I'm an honest man. Way too much of my day is spent looking at videos on a tranny Instagram profile in order to get the best possible screenshot for a face cap that I possibly can, and spending way too much time on fucking thumbnails. But I think this previous Bud Light video, the one that just came out before the stream went live, I think that's one of my favorite ones. I really like the Target one as well, where you got the Target dog burning down an American flag. Kind of partial to that one as well, but every once in a while you get something that comes together and it's worth the half an hour that I got to spend looking at absolutely insufferable TikTok videos. But I do it for you, the people. So let's just have some fun right now, shall we? It's been a minute since we've had a new Tate interview, so I think without further ado, since wasted enough of everybody's time, so let's just fucking go right at this, shall we? So, okay. The BBC has been begging Andrew Tate for an interview for the past 6 months? 6 months. Begging. Did they bring chocolates this time around? They sent a list of sanitized questions and promised a fair and balanced interview. Yeah, like I said, haven't watched the full interview, but I also know that there's nothing fair or balanced about this. It's actually fairly combative. Tate finally agreed to their begging, and they ignored all of their promised questions and attempted a hit job. This is what happened. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Oh, and by the way, last time we played a video off of Rumble, it was the Vice guy. It was that Matt Shea guy coming back. And yeah, trying to give Tate chocolates and all that shit. So, hence the reference from before. They also took down that stream, Rumble. Rumble sent a copyright claim on that stream. So, I don't know if this is going to be staying up. But then also, taking a look at everybody else who has also reacted to this online, I think we should be fine. But if it goes down on YouTube, we'll just go exclusively on Rumble. But I don't think that should be the case. But just giving you guys a heads up. She looks like a charming woman.
Hello. You agreed to do an interview with the BBC today.
Yep. We got closed captioning because I think it's a little bit low. Let me see.
The material is going to be published.
Yeah, no, it's pretty low. I can at least boost it up a little bit. So, just in case. Okay.
On television, on radio.
We can go a little bit louder than that. Let's go 2 bills.
Online.
Perfect.
We are doing an interview with you.
Yeah, it should be good.
Because
you guys let me know.
You're facing some very serious allegations.
Correct.
Rape, human trafficking.
Yep.
And also because there's a great deal of concern about the things you say and the impact that they have on young people, on women.
I don't think the concern's about the things I say. I think the concern is for the level of influence I have and the reach I have.
Yeah, that's definitely been his line as well. And yeah, weird. I don't know, is he growing out his hair? Because he's definitely growing out his beard, but yeah, interesting way to just immediately frame this instead of, can we get to the bottom of this stuff? No, you're a dangerous influence that's out there. Sure thing.
I would argue that a lot of the things that are already out there inside of the legacy media and the matrix as a whole are far more damaging than the things I say.
It's the concern about the influence you have being a harmful influence, but let's start with the allegations.
Not necessarily a harmful influence. The fact that I'm massively influential over the youth, and I understand that. But it's my influence as a whole which people are afraid of, not necessarily the things I say.
Let's start with the allegations. Have you raped anybody?
Absolutely not.
Have you trafficked anybody?
Yo, just getting right to it. I think that's a fair way to start the interview, at least. Okay, see if you're dealing with at least an honest person, a straight shooter, but then at the same time, it's like, ooh, interesting. Interesting way to lead off.
Anybody?
Absolutely not.
Exploited any women for
Absolutely
money?
not.
But you have admitted using emotional manipulation to get women to work in the webcam industry for you.
All right, there we go. There's the turn.
No. Firstly, let's begin. Let's start at the beginning. I'm facing charges. The first one you mentioned, the rape one, was already thrown out by a judge. There's no evidence of it. Secondly, it's very difficult for me to sit here and have a very frank and honest conversation with you while we're in the territory of Romania about a legal case that's going on within Romania. I have to protect myself. I've agreed to do an interview with you, and I want to be as honest with you as possible. But I can't incriminate myself in any way, and I have to be very careful with what I talk about.
There are no charges yet.
Correct. There are no charges.
Has said that
there are no charges, and
mustn't.
I've agreed to speak to you, but I have to be.
Oh my God, sorry, reading the chat here for a second, but Tim Pool and right, I knew Pearl was going to be down there because she said that on whose stream, but somebody's stream anyways. Oh God, is that worthy long reach of going over on Saturday? Because that could be total ass cancer, just to goof on as well. Because Pearl's, she's all right, she's fine. I'm not going to say she's good at what she does, mostly because it's just kind of watered down version of F&F, and she's a bit out of touch, but Tim's totally insufferable. Could be fun to clown on, though.
Be as honest and frank as I can, while also protecting myself and following my legal counsel.
So let's talk about what you've said yourself then. You have said on the website, for your original website for the Hustlers University, that you emotionally manipulated women to fall in love with you so that you could get them working in the sex industry for your financial gain.
I've seen that clip, and that wasn't on your Hustlers University. No, it was on the old, like really old version of CobraTate.com, because I remember seeing the screenshot. It's probably in one of the videos I did. I can't remember specifically, but it wasn't on Hustlers University. What the fuck are you talking about?
As I said, I have to be very careful with what I say, but let's put it this way. No women are coming out against me and accusing me of doing it.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. Who?
There's testimony from the current investigation.
The current investigation, which I cannot discuss, which I know intimately and you don't, I can tell you right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that is probably fairly similar to that of other international courts while there's an ongoing investigation. If you have any questions, speak to his legal counsel, because he can't say anything that is going to or has the potentiality to incriminate himself or, disclosing any information that's going on behind the scenes. And we know that Romania's a little bit fuzzy when it comes to, being open and transparent about their ongoing investigations. So I gave her credit at the beginning to just, immediately shoot straight when it comes to the questions, but that was a scummy move.
That the women who are in this case file, there are 2 American women who have been caught already admitting they're lying, and then nobody else is accusing me of anything.
To begin with, it's very common in cases like this that the alleged victims do not always see themselves as victims.
Well, that's very interesting. It's actually extremely interesting, because if I was a matrix-controlled organization and my goal was to slander somebody and try and destroy their name, you're telling me that they've chosen a crime which, 1, is heinous, of course, because it damages the person's credibility, and 2, you're saying that even if everyone else involved, if you have 5 people and everyone's sitting there saying, no, nobody's hurt anybody, we like Andrew, we've all worked together, or we're friends, etc.
That's not what everybody's saying.
No.
Let me read you some of the testimony from the current investigation.
Can I finish, please?
One of the witnesses said...
Can I finish, please?
You're not answering the question I've asked you. You're not answering the question I've asked you.
I am answering the question. You're
Let
saying...
me read you the testimony of one of the witnesses.
You're saying the people...
Let me just see, because I thought I heard it's like, okay, he was about to answer the question, but then she just decided to cut him off. Very disingenuous.
Was to slander somebody and try and destroy their name. You're telling me that they've chosen a crime which, 1, is heinous, of course, because it damages the person's credibility, and 2, you're saying that even if everyone else involved, if you have 5 people and everyone's sitting there saying, no, nobody's hurt anybody, we like Andrew, we've all worked together, or we're friends, etc.
That's not what everybody's saying.
No.
Let me read you some of the testimony from the current investigation.
Can I finish
Yeah, absolutely cut him off right there. And it's like he might have been going on a diatribe and you might not like it, but let him finish. You're the one asking for an interview after all.
One of the witnesses said...
Can I finish, please?
You're not answering the question I've asked you. You're not answering the question I've asked you.
I am answering the question. You're saying...
Let me read you the testimony of one of the witnesses.
You're saying the people who are involved in this, even if they say they're not victims, that they're still going to try and attack me and pretend they're victims.
They are treated as victims by the case that's ongoing. And not all of them are saying that. One of the witnesses said...
One of the witnesses... Which witness exactly? Because we kind of know. We know the Moldovan girl. We know the American girl. Okay, we know their backgrounds, their past. We know the 2 girls who want nothing to do with the charges, and then 2 of them that may or may not even exist. Which ones are you specifically talking about? Because none of them have been named publicly or by the courts. So, where are you getting your information from?
We can't go into the case. The case is open and active.
Yeah.
Well, let's just be clear that not all of the witnesses in the case are behaving in the way you describe. And even those that are, it doesn't bar them from being treated as victims by the prosecution by the case.
We have...
Yeah, that's a presumption of guilt right off rip, but...
An open criminal investigation. I am absolutely not really sure I'll be found innocent. I know the case better than you. I know it intimately and you don't. I've seen all the criminal files and the evidence against me and you haven't. I know the truth of what happened and you don't. And I'm telling you absolutely not really, I've never hurt anybody, that the case that's been put against me is completely and utterly fabricated. And I'm never going to be found guilty of anything. And it's very difficult for me to answer your in-depth questions because we're sitting here inside of the territory of Romania. I'm beholden to the Romanian legal system. And I'm not going to incriminate myself because you're trying...
Yeah, because the house arrest is still up until, I think the 29th is the last day where the courts have to shit or get off the pot. So, it's tough.
...to prod me. You are wrong, and we're going to have to accept that for now and talk about something else.
Let me read you then what you have said about what you have done.
Sure.
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to...
This has nothing to do with the court case. This is just, once again, excerpts from him, from videos specifically. Might be from PhD course. It might have been from a multitude of different courses. But here we go. Yep, no, this is going to definitely have something to do with it.
Fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what I personally said. I think
that's exactly what
no,
you said.
That's no, I've never said that. That's something that you found on the internet. Doesn't mean I've said it. And again, once again, if any female on the planet has a problem with me, I strongly recommend her to go to the police and try and pursue me for criminal charges. It's actually very interesting that me, one of the most famous people in the world, who's been vilified by the legacy media and places all over the internet, while everyone has attacked me from every single angle, while federal agencies from multiple countries have called over 2,000 women who know me, we stand here with 0 new accusations since my arrest. 0. If you took any famous person, any man...
Yeah, that's true. Isn't that kind of fucking weird as well? Like, okay, all of these bitches, they could just come in and make some spurious allegations and they could immediately get some sort of clout. And we know how much these trifling whores do love some clout. Not the good chicks that are out there, okay? Not the good chicks that may potentially be in the chat, but also just the clout demons that are out there. Those are the ones that I'm talking about. Not all women, whatever the fucking, little asterisks you want to affix to anything. But no, why hasn't anybody come forward? Because these allegations, and still the initial charges that are there, I was human trafficked, I was raped, all of that shit on top of this, that shit is very difficult to prove, but it's very easy to accuse. I've got some videos that are still in the cut of some heinous broads that are out there making some awful accusations. So yeah, if you could do that on somebody who's on Tate's level, or even on Tristan's level as well, because he's all snatched up in this stuff, and no credible accusations, none that I've seen, none that have made the headlines, have come forward by the brothers since all of this kicked off. Hell, even all the way back in April of last year. So, yeah, no, it all seems to bear out.
Substantial wealth. And you called 2,000 women who knew him. He'd find an ex-girlfriend is upset, somebody who wants money who's upset. They called 2,000 people who knew me and could not find a single woman to make a new complaint. The only complaints they have against me are the initial complaints, which we can prove are lies, and that's where it stands. So I'm not going to sit here and allow you to pretend I'm some kind of evil predator, when actually I'd argue the fact that people who've been investigated to the level I've been investigated to, if you were to take the average man on the street and investigate his entire life for 14 months, call everyone who's ever known him, and vilify him in the media, and encourage people to come forward for money, and you try and contact every ex-girlfriend that's ever had.
Would come forward and accuse those people of rape and accuse those
I
people
think that you would have a lot more. I think you would have a lot more flack than I've got. I'm actually such a nice person that I've never had anyone
spoken to somebody since your arrest who says exactly those things that we.
All the way back from, what was that, the 2014 accusation that he's elucidated on multiple podcasts. Interesting. Yeah. So, we talked to somebody whose claims were listened to by the police, the fucking UK police, and how woke shit they are. Listened to everything that she had to say and then just went, doesn't seem like a crime to us. So you're going to go ahead and bring this fucking sob story?
With you, it's all manipulation. There's an ulterior.
Is this Sophie? Is this Sophie? Oh, Sophie, the fake name, no face.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I was so
the story that was
wanting
invented.
to please him and wanting him to be happy that I was just kind of, okay, do whatever you want.
And
see, this is so smart, because back when Vice was doing their hit piece, okay, Andrew sat down with that Matt Shea character for what people have said, sartorial shooter and guys that were around during that event said that, they had to sit down for like 3 hours. They didn't have any cameras running or anything like that, but all that was taken out of that entire interview is about 45 seconds, like just a little small clip. So shout out to them for actually videotaping this in its totality. Very smart, incredibly smart now, and hey man, intelligent people learn from their mistakes.
Has she accused me of a crime, this imaginary Sophie?
She's making the point that there is.
Has she accused me of a crime?
Emotional or psychological manipulation.
I've asked you a question, and I've
emotional damage.
Allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here, because I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you the question.
Correctly, and I'm telling you.
You get to decide the answers.
No, we're equal here. I've allowed you into my house. You don't come here with a position of authority.
Yo, she just...
Imaginary Sophie?
She's making the point that there is.
Has she accused me of a crime?
Emotional or psychological manipulation.
I've asked you a question, and I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here, because I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you the question.
Correctly, and I'm telling you.
You get to decide the answers.
No.
Yeah, that's very funny. You get to decide the answers. Unless, of course, it's an answer that she doesn't like, and then she just trounces right over what Andrew is saying. I see what time it is. How far are we into this so far? Ooh, 7 minutes. Boy, oh boy.
We're equal here. I've allowed you into my house. You don't come here with a position of authority. I'm doing you the favor as legacy media, giving you relevance by speaking to you. And I'm telling you now, this Sophie, which the BBC has invented, which there's no face of, nobody knows who she is.
The BBC did not invent
Of course not. And she...
gave her a fake name. I would say that that's at least partially responsible for inventing her. She came up with the story, obviously, but man, you guys published a fake name that was right there. So, unless of course her name is Sophie, and that's a bold decision to make, but
because you never invent anything, and she's not filed criminal charges against me.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? What is she saying?
We're talking about emotional manipulation in the sex industry for your financial gain.
Absolute garbage. She has not.
Emotional manipulation, emotional assault. Oh, it's an emotional trauma. Okay, cool. You start criminalizing emotions, then we start to go down a very dark path because, hey man, emotions are fleeting, emotions are temporary. If you just all of a sudden start to be able to levy charges against something that is here today and gone tomorrow, that's a very difficult future, and that's definitely what we're moving towards. But that's not where we're at right now. Thank the fucking Lord.
This person, if they exist, has not filed criminal charges against me. I welcome anybody who believes I've harmed them, male or female, any point in the past, to file criminal charges against me, and I will fight them. I know who I am, I know what I've done, and I know the truth, and I know that I'll be found innocent of this attack. The reason I'm being attacked is because of my massive influence, not because I've ever hurt anybody. And for you to sit here and say that everybody around you is saying you're innocent, but that doesn't matter because the state will say they're victims, and they're just going to grab everybody you know and call everybody victims, even if they say they're not, and try and put you in jail. You are describing a matrix attack. You're not describing human trafficking.
I'm describing.
Yeah, exactly. And what's been alleged as human trafficking? Oh yeah, I'm not gonna pay your blackmail ransom in order to move your, was it sister or mother? I think it was sister for the Moldovan chick. I'm not gonna pay for her to, come and live in Romania. You can go now. I've been human trafficked, and now I gotta recover in the French Riviera.
Describing women who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human trafficking.
We will see what women go. We will see what women go to court at the end of this trial. We'll see which women go.
Can I finish, please?
We'll see which women go to court.
I'm describing women who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human
Sophie
trafficking.
isn't going to court. Sophie doesn't exist.
I'm describing women who have spoken to the BBC at length.
Sophie doesn't exist.
And other media organisations about what they say is emotional manipulation, coercion. And I'm quoting back to you your own words where you describe.
They're not my words.
Coercion.
They're words you found on the internet, and Sophie doesn't exist.
On your
so let's move on to
website,
the next subject.
In your voice.
Move on to the next subject.
No, I think I'll stick on this one for a minute. So there's other places in that same website where you say you get girls to fall in love with you, and they do it because they love you, because they want to do what you say. Convincing.
I think that's the point in time, because I just looked up, I was in the chat there for a second, but just looking up and see Andrew's expression change just a little bit, it's like, all right, so this is so much less an interview as it is going to be a sparring session, and hey, camera's rolling, I can only look good off of this, and she can only she can only come off looking like how we're talking about it in the chat.
Women to take part in some kind of business arrangement doesn't work long term because they're emotional. You've got to get them to fall in love with you. That's coercion, that's emotional manipulation, that's abuse.
What you found.
That's abuse. Hi, you want to come in and make some money? Emotional damage.
Are clips from the internet, some text from the internet, and you're going to sit here and tell me that that's the reason I should be.
Your website, your words.
It's not my website.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Check my website. Next.
Yeah, it's not owned by him directly. It'll be owned through a shell company.
It's the website you've taken down, and I wonder why those comments have been taken down.
No website's been taken down. My website's the same. It's been the same for a very long time.
The comments on this website, on the original website, have been taken down, and I wonder why.
You are accusing me, I'm guessing, what you're trying to say is you're accusing me, and you're trying to say that I'm guilty of the things I'm accused of, and I'm emotionally manipulating people.
I'm saying that you have said you emotionally manipulated people here for your own financial gain.
No, absolutely not.
And I'm asking you about that.
Absolutely not is the answer. I look forward to the end of this trial. I look forward to clearing my name. I look forward to the BBC and the legacy media having to say.
Oh, and also he's going to be clearing his name next week, the 14th, so that would be Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday is supposed to be an emergency meeting podcast, which I know I'll be watching it, so probably go over that maybe later, but normally that's more comedic in nature and that kind of stands alone, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, next Wednesday, and it'll be funky Romanian time, so we won't be able to simulcast it for sure. But just also, what I'm also noticing is the body language, because the way that I have OBS set up, it's right in the middle, so it's kind of perfect. I can see them both going back and forth. But the way that the interview lady, who I don't know her name, I've got a 4-letter word that I could probably appropriately affix to her that would be fairly accurate, but the way that she's accusatorily leaning in and tapping her page like she's trying to drive the point home, she's definitely on edge. Andrew on the other side, well, he's, got his little hand gimmick, and he's just not really moving all that much. He's moved ahead once where he's like trying to reestablish that, hey, listen, this is an interview in my home. Adhere to my rules, otherwise you can get the fuck out. But outside of that, very little movement. He's been making some head movements, well, just for nothing that really seems out of the ordinary. Somebody in his space, and as we've seen with the text screen that was up there at the beginning, it's like, yeah, there was some questions that they already knew that the BBC provided them to go over and ask. So, hey, just go over the stuff. Here's what we're going to be talking about. And then she just decided to come in and start machine gunning a bunch of accusations, and Tate's handling them incredibly well, given the fact that he was caught on the back foot for temporarily. He's definitely comported himself fairly well.
say not guilty and having to tell the truth. As I've said before, the only other person who's been found, despite absolute rigorous, destructive levels of investigation and prodding into my life, is this imaginary Sophie by the BBC who doesn't exist. Yeah. And if you were to find any single other man on earth and try and analyze his life forensically to the level they've done mine, you would find genuine damage to people. I don't hurt people.
Mm-hmm. It's not just
thousands of women have come out in my defense. Thousands of women have come out in my defense, and you've not mentioned that. Thousands of women come out in my defense.
Because the problem is when women accuse you of serious crimes.
Oh, she fucked up right there, because she should have just continued to plow on with a different question, because that was a winning statement. There's no way that you can weasel back in, because you're also trying to base all of your questions off this nameless, faceless individual who has never pressed charges before. And he said thousands of women have come forward in my defense, and now she's starting to engage in that. She fucked up right there. Absolutely 100%. That's a huge misstep.
Okay, but let's agree that thousands of women. Let's agree that
it's
thousands.
It's not the problem that some people say you haven't done it. It's the problem that some people say you have.
Thousands of women come out in my defense, and as we stand right now, we have an open criminal investigation. The people who are involved in the criminal investigation are saying that we're not victims of anything. Andrew's fine; he's never hurt us. You're saying no. I have the opposite to that. I have to counter that. I have someone called Sophie with no face, a fake name, who we've invented, and she's not accusing you of anything criminal. So I don't see the whole point you're trying to make.
You say you manipulate women. They say you manipulate women. Why wouldn't people think you do?
I'm not here. Do you think I'm manipulating you?
I'm asking you about the testimony you've given on your website and the testimony you've
printed something off that you found on Reddit, and you're going to sit here and say that makes me a bad person. I'm saying that you should know better.
Oh man, extremely common Reddit L.
As a journalist, and do some proper journalism. Let's investigate the fact that
I think you should answer my questions properly.
I already have, and we should move on. She's just trying to start arguing.
It's not only about the criminal allegations. It's a much bigger issue. You've got children's organisations in the UK, you've got rape organisations in the UK, you've got the police naming you by...
Oh, you've got political organisations with an axe to grind. Oh no, who could have possibly seen that happen with somebody who's trying to empower young men? Oh yeah, somebody who has a very dangerous message, like become the best version of yourself so that you can go ahead and demand the best treatment for yourself. That's very dangerous because it runs counter to society at large.
By name as someone who has a harmful influence on children and on women.
Hey Ed, thanks a lot, man. Hey, I just see you're bouncing between the chats. Like, we can chat, but thank you very much, man. And yeah, no, good stuff. Good turnout between the two chats, man. Definitely appreciate it. Woo, emojis work over on Rumble chat now. If you guys want to hop over on the Rumble chat too, it's a lot of fun.
In the UK and elsewhere, because of the things you say, because of the way you present gender relations, the way you say men should treat women.
That's very upsetting. And the reason that's very upsetting is because I know that's not true. I'm genuinely a good person. I believe my impact on the world is positive. In fact, if you were to read the comment section of nearly any video I post, especially by the legacy media, 95% of the population agree with me. Most people know that the things I say are positive. Legacy media as a whole has lost all its credibility in the last 3 or 4 years. Nobody believes it. And it's a shame. It's a massive shame.
Actually, Andrew, you're mistaken. They lost their credibility about 10 years ago, but close.
The BBC come here and try and push and purport this idea that I'm a dangerous person.
I'm
anti-drugs, so I've never pushed drugs or any, I'm anti-drugs, I'm anti-violence. The UK is facing a knife crime epidemic, and they're going to sit here and say that I'm the most dangerous man in the UK.
You have said you're the most dangerous man in the world.
I've said I'm the most dangerous man in the world.
You've also said that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner. I'm glad you find that funny.
I find it funny that you're sitting here saying that I've said I'm the most dangerous man in the world, and you believe that's... When did I say that?
I'm asking...
That's like... That's so fucking stupid. That's like, Mike Tyson, one of your nicknames is Kid Dynamite. Do you actually believe that you're made up of explosives?
If you believe it.
No, you said you're the most dangerous man in the world. Is that some kind of proof that I'm dangerous? Am I Dr. Evil now? I'm telling you that it's very upsetting that you're going to sit here and that certain organizations in the world are going to try and pretend that I'm the biggest force of evil on earth when I'm genuinely a force for good. I'm genuinely a force for good. And the reason they're doing this is because of the massive influence I have over the youth. And they don't like that I'm telling the youth to think outside the matrix and ignore things like the BBC, which come here with loaded questions and false narratives and try and paint innocent people as guilty.
You said women's intimate parts belong to their male partner.
I said that if a woman marries a man, she takes his last name and traditionally the man gives her away. I've been pushing traditional religious beliefs, because I'm a religious man, and traditional beliefs in regards to marriage, which everybody accepted 10 to 15 years ago.
So
that's not a crazy conspiracy theory. If you're going to sit here and say that me believing a woman should take a man's last name in marriage makes me the most dangerous man in the world, then you're just going to lose even more credibility than the BBC's already lost in the last 4 to 5 years. If that's your point, if that's your narrative you want to push,
say that men should be able to sleep with a lot of women outside marriage. That doesn't sound very religious.
That's not what I said.
Oh, now she's just getting into the emotional arguments. You said that guys should sleep with a bunch of women or when they're in a marriage. It's like, yeah, okay. I see what else. I see what other shit that your organization pushes, and I think that it's awfully empowering to women, if you know what I mean. So yeah.
I said they should be able to. I said a lot of high-value men, a lot of rich men do it. And then we discussed at length on podcasts why rich men do it. And we also discussed why women decide to be unfaithful. It's not a gendered argument. We discussed unfaithfulness as a whole. What are the reasons and motivations for men, and what are the reasons and motivations for women? Because you have no time to actually, watch my content, because you have no time to actually watch my content at length and understand what I'm saying, you just come here with a small snippet which we provided to you on a piece of paper.
Times doesn't make it true.
No, completely. You don't have a clue what I say or what I talk about. You never watch my content. You have small pieces of paper, small clips on a piece of paper, and you're trying to pretend I've said evil things. And then you're going to say I'm the most dangerous man in the world, which is truly laughable.
You said that, not me.
Okay. Do you believe I'm the most dangerous man in the world, Lucy?
I'm not answering your questions.
Well, then we need to change the dynamic of this interview because.
Oh, her name's Lucy? Yeah, it's probably appropriate.
And I'll make this clear. I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals. We are people. We're citizens of the world. And we sit here as equals. And I see you as my equal. And if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo and that you don't answer my questions is disingenuous because I don't owe you anything.
Asking questions and you answer.
But I don't owe, no,
however you want.
This is a conversation. And I don't owe you any degree of authority over me. So let's make that clear. And that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or from the BBC or the CNN. I'm here to answer your questions and be honest with you and do you a favor. And I'm doing you a favor. But you come here with loaded questions. You're trying to paint a narrative of me which is negative.
I'm asking you about things you said that people are concerned about.
And that's fine. But you're not going to.
People are concerned about, people as in the media is concerned about, because you guys are the ones that perpetually run all of these same statements back and forth, because everybody else, they can go ahead and assess the content in and of itself. And the only time that I ever hear shit like this is from the people that kind of look like Lucy over there.
Sit here and say you don't answer my questions because you're not above me.
This is also not supposed to be a third degree, it's supposed to be a conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, it would help if you answered the question.
I've answered every question so far.
Let me ask another question.
Sure.
You have said that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner, and if she goes on OnlyFans, he is entitled to a cut of her income.
You are extremely, it's actually very confusing to me why you're going to sit here, take long format podcasts I've done, which are 3 or 4 hours long, in context where I've sat with OnlyFans girls, 10 or 15 OnlyFans girls, where we've been joking back and forth, ignore every comment.
Well, to be fair, there's a good percentage of fresh and fit guests that are on OnlyFans, but I don't think they were all on OnlyFans, so just...
And satirical comment and sarcastic comment that the females have made, and then come along and say, you said this, and you're the most evil man in the world. I don't know if you understand what sarcasm is. I don't know if you understand what sarcasm is. I don't know if you understand what context is. I don't know if you understand what satirical content
So you're saying it's sarcastic?
I'm saying it was a very interesting talk show. And for you to sit here and say that that is my true core beliefs and that makes me a bad person is disingenuous.
Is it?
Of course not.
Was it sarcasm?
Absolutely. You should watch the show.
You were being sarcastic when you said... Let me just clarify.
You should watch the show.
Let me clarify for the audience. You were being sarcastic when you said a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner.
No.
You didn't believe that.
No, it's not that. It's that you haven't watched the show at length, and you should have, because the woman was saying, my man's car belongs to me because he's my man. And she was on OnlyFans. And then 20 minutes later, when she said she was on OnlyFans, I said, well, you're selling your body, that belongs to him because he's your man. And she laughed, she laughed, and she said, yeah, that's probably true. If you
There you go. There's the full context to it. I immediately knew what he was talking about. You guys did as well. Like, come on. And she's just over there pretending, no, this is totally different. Oh, you're going to compare women to cars? Is that the next thing that she's going to say? Because that would be equally as stupid.
If you watch the show, it will make sense. For you to come here...
Yeah, it's very entertaining. You might go away learning something.
...with doing no research at all, and then say, I don't understand what I'm talking about, but I've got this piece of paper with a few things printed off. That's why you're saying the silly things you're saying. You should watch the show. Do some research.
Do you believe it?
You already answered
I've already answered the question.
Not really.
Of course I have. Can we move on? I've answered the question.
Do you believe that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner?
Of course not. I've just answered the question.
You just answered that. You said exactly that.
We've done that 3 times.
And does this woman believe that her man's car belongs to her? It's not a gendered argument. I really think that it's genuinely sad that when the BBC has a chance to finally interview me at the end of all this Matrix attack, that they don't come here with any kind of genuine openness to try and understand my influence over the world, or the things I push, or what I'm trying to teach the world, or why I'm a good influence on the world, because I am a massively good influence. Instead, they come here with pieces of paper, with printed out excerpts from 5-year-old podcasts, taken out of context, to attempt the same Matrix attack on me, which has been attempted endlessly. Every single person in Legacy Media has already tried this, and it doesn't work. I encourage you to read the comment section on YouTube when this goes on YouTube, and you'll see that nobody believes a word you're saying.
The reason I'm asking you about these comments is because we've got the chief executive of Rape Crisis naming you individually as spreading a dangerous ideology of misogynistic rape culture.
Absolute.
Oh, wow. cool. Somebody whose entire job is to find rape and sexual assault and everything that's out there names the most famous person at any given during last summer, the most famous person on earth, finding fault in what he's saying. Wow, consider me shocked.
It's the comments you make that are leading people to say things like
Absolute
this.
garbage.
National organisations who are saying that are blaming you for increasing levels of misogyny. Schools that are saying they are having increased incidents of girls being attacked, of female teachers being harassed.
If that was
Any incidents that are actually marked down, or once again, is it just posts on Reddit that said, oh, I'm a teacher and my kids are coming in asking me what color my Bugatti is and why are there teachers in the class, or why are there women in the classroom and why aren't you in the kitchen? Oh, please, let me clutch my pearls harder.
By pupils, because of you and your teaching.
Well, that's absolute garbage. I've never, ever encouraged a student to attack a teacher, male or female, ever. I preach hard work, discipline. I'm an athlete. I preach anti-drug. I preach religion. I preach no alcohol. I preach no knife crime. Every single problem in modern society, I'm against. I'm teaching young men to be disciplined, to be diligent, to listen, to train, to work hard, to be exactly like me, with no criminal record, never even yet charged in this 14-month Matrix investigation. And I'm saying that if men grew up like me, which are hardworking and diligent and emotional control and stoic, we're going to have a better society, not a worse society. To sit here and say that schools in England, which is a failing nation, which has knife crime going through the roof, violence going through the roof, men's mental health going through the roof, and they're going to all blame me because I appeared on the internet 1 year ago, is disingenuous. It's disingenuous. And also,
financial success with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
Because it's all mixed together in what you teach. You teach that if a woman comes home and accuses you of cheating, you should hit her with a machete, shove her off.
Is that right?
Oh my god. This one again. Yo, man. Go past level 1 for Christ's sakes. Like, this is amateur hour right here. Now all of a sudden she's shook and, hey man, it is what it is. But no, if she's gonna run back that obvious fucking joke, you at least need to know the full context of it, because it's been dispelled time and time again by lesser minds than her. She should know better, but obviously she doesn't. That's why she works for the BBC at this point in time.
Is that what I teach?
That's what you say.
No, if you actually watch the clip, it will be about the woman attacking me with a machete. As usual, you've not watched the video, taken it out of context, flipped it, and attempted to attack me with a small excerpt. Let me tell you something, Lucy. I'm sure you're a very nice person. I'm sure you're a fantastic person. But if I were to take everything you've ever said online and just take small excerpts out of context, I can make you look like a misogynist. I guarantee it. In fact, I might actually do that. And then you're going to sit here and say, oh shit, I'm a misogynist because my clips have been taken out of context. If you refuse to watch anything at length and understand it, then that's what's going to happen.
The National Police Chiefs League for Violence Against Women, the NSPCC, Rape Crisis, Safer Schools, they are all naming you as being behind an epidemic of misogyny, even amongst...
Okay, so there's a lot of stupid people on Earth. You got anything else on your list there? You said you were going to be asking questions, but so far you're just drilling down and, a bunch of people that are affiliated with the government think that you're a bad man. You got a license for them opinions, right?
Primary school children.
The idea that I made primary school children misogynistic because I own a nice car. Is that your argument?
It's the misogyny that comes along with it.
Oh, owning a nice car is misogynist.
No, it's the misogyny that comes along with it.
How does misogyny come along with owning a nice car?
Because you have an image of financial
I'm glad you're answering my questions now. We finally got the answer.
You have an image of financial
success. You answer my
success.
questions, actually should.
Aha, fell into his frame.
Excuse me. You have an image of financial success, but it comes along with attitudes towards women that are really problematic.
My attitudes towards women is that women should be protected and provided for, and I've said that at length. In fact, I've said that over 50 times online, you never mention it. I say that my girlfriend doesn't have to work unless she wants to, I take care of her, I die to protect a woman, I've talked about how I've stood up and faced a knife to protect a woman.
And in return, you want authority over her in the way you have over a child or a dog.
Absolutely not. I've said that women should be protected and provided for.
And in return, you want authority over her, because if you have responsibility for someone like a child or a dog, you say, you have authority over them.
If you want to go down this argument, we'll go down this nuanced argument. I said that if I have responsibility for her safety, I should have a degree of authority over her safety. Meaning, and let me explain my point. If I'm the one who has to fight and die to protect her, I'm the one who decides how we walk home. I'm the one who decides the route we take. Because it's unfair for her to say, I want to walk through the most dangerous neighborhood in the world, but you have to face the knives. That's what I've said. And then you're going to sit here and pretend I'm trying to treat women like dogs, which is garbage. Every single man in the world who loves this woman understands that he has to protect her. And every single woman in the world likes the idea of a man who would protect her. If you were to say to most women home right now, do you want your husband to protect you in a violent attack? They'd say, yeah, of course. Nothing I've said is misogynistic.
If you said to most women, would you want to lose authority in the relationship, to not be treated as a free and legal equal to your...
I didn't say that. I said I need to have authority over...
Yeah, that's the most disingenuous framing that you could possibly get on that one. But, hey, That's the popular opinion that's out there. The guy, yeah. Everything that you do, that's nice and fantastic. You should be doing that anyways. But I'm just going to be over here living a single life because I don't need a man. I just want a man, okay? And I want everything that's good about it. And then if anything bad comes along and if I got to be responsible for my actions, fuck that. I can just go find another simp that's over there that'll cater to my lifestyle. Interesting.
The route we walk home.
When you compare women and the authority over women that you believe you should have to having authority over a child or a dog, it's not the same because a woman...
You're comparing women to children and dogs. Oh, it's being a little harsh on dogs and children.
Woman is a free, legal adult.
Correct.
You're equal.
Free, legal adult, my equal. But if I had a girlfriend and we were walking home late at night and I said, let's not walk down that area, it's a bad area, I have to protect you if anything happens, I want to take the long way. And she said, no, I will, I have to walk this way, even though it's the most dangerous route, I must.
Then what?
And then I would say, you're welcome to, you could do it, you're a free and legal equal, but I'm not going to walk with you and protect you. I think that I should be able to decide the route. Because I have an obligation. And my obligation as a man is to protect and provide for females. Everything I'm talking about is traditional gender roles, which 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, would not be considered outlandish, would not be considered crazy, would not be considered dangerous or misogynistic. The world has changed, and a lot of people haven't changed with the world. Please understand, there's a lot of women at home watching this right now who like the idea of a man sticking up for them, protecting them, and providing for them. And just because the world has gone crazy and the legacy media has gone crazy, most people at home are still relatively sane. And these are the people who are going to write on the comments that Andrew isn't saying anything that's outlandish.
Oh no.
It's the whole world believes these things.
Yeah, this is basically a high-budget Discord debate that Aiden Ross used to host, okay? So she's no different. She is very... Yeah, there's not much of a differentiation between her and XQC other than she's a little bit better spoken. Outside, and sitting on a nicer chair, but outside of that, what's the difference? There isn't one.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
No, he's not coming across bad.
I'm having a nice conversation with you, so I'm enjoying it. So it's no problem. It's been fun so far.
Yo, she just is an absolute ice queen. Holy shit.
We good?
Yes.
Tell me when.
Do you want to clap again?
No, we didn't stop, no?
I can do the clap. Now we're good?
No,
Thank you. If a man broke into your house, wouldn't you want your husband to protect you?
There's a difference between conservative values and emotional control, coercive control.
We're
lack
talking
of
about protection
consent.
now, and I'm saying if someone broke into your house, would you want your husband to protect you?
It's not about conservative values or protection, it's what you're demanding in return for that.
Well, I'll give you this. I don't know who your husband is. I don't know if he would stand up to protect you or die for you, but I'll give you this.
Oh, you're inferring that she has a husband. That's cute.
If someone broke into this house right now and was a homicidal maniac, I would expect me and the other men in this room to stand up and face them while you and the other women in this room could protect yourselves. I would actually believe the men should go and engage the attacker. I believe that. And even though I don't know you, and you've come into my house with a hostile agenda, and you've come here to try and make me look bad, I would still stand up to protect you. I would still stand up to protect you because I believe that's my role as a man.
I am asking you about things that you have said that have caused major national organizations, including the police, to worry about you by name. That's what I'm asking you about.
It's not what I say.
It's not about whether you protect...
The police are in their emotions because somebody got too famous. Oh, okay. Interesting. That's how we run police departments in the UK. Good to know. Good to know.
Protect your partner or not. It's about what you have said that has caused such concern in the UK. And I want to put it to you that you don't really care about the harm it causes.
That's not true.
Because
that's not true.
Making controversial statements like this online has made you a lot of money.
Okay, so firstly,
Oh my god, that same leftist argument. You get rich off of it. It's like, oh my god, I think... Yeah, fuck it. I think that money for Tate... Definitely not the highest priority. I was going to say I think it's the least of his concern. Maybe it is, especially for the stuff that he gets online. Sure, there's a lot of money associated with the War Room, with Hustlers University, or I think it got rebranded or something like that. But even still, I think just the potentiality of having more affluent business partners that are out there is probably what drives him. So a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So if there's higher quality people out there to do business with, there's more opportunities to make money out there. So yeah, money does have a role to play in this, but I don't think that it's definitely not front of mind, like you said multiple times, and especially on Twitter a multitude of times over. And it's like, yeah, you could just go ahead and attach his face and his likeness to a shit coin or an NFT or anything like that, but he doesn't. What he thinks of NFTs, you can go on his store, the merch, his merch site, and you get a free NFT from there. If he actually cared about that stuff, that would be the first thing that you would see. Every time that he comes into a call, the first thing would be, all right, here's a 30-minute presentation on HU. Here's the war room. Here's how you can join. Here's the money. Here's the incentives. It would be a totally different presentation. But like I said, it's not front of mind, but that's one of the first things, if not the first thing, that always comes up when you have a bad faith actor. And she is definitely proving to be the worst of faith.
I genuinely am a force for good in the world. You may not understand that yet, but you will eventually. And I genuinely believe I'm acting under the instruction of God to do good things, and I want to make the world a better place. I genuinely believe my legacy is a good legacy, and I believe that eventually, when the legacy media catches up, they're going to understand I'm a good, positive influence. I'm not interested in damaging the world for money, because if I was interested in damaging the world for money, I could have sold drugs, or I could make rap music and encourage everyone to stab each other like all the drill artists do.
Or you can make controversial statements online that attract a lot of followers, who you then direct to your website,
where
they pay.
I could make jokes. Sure. I mean, I could make jokes online. Who doesn't? I mean, I could make a joke online.
Are you saying that all the controversial things you've said are jokes?
No, I'm saying that these organizations and the BBC who are going to sit here and pretend that I am the face damaging the youth is absolutely garbage. It's completely disingenuous.
I'm sorry, we have agreed to do an interview where you are going to ask questions that are going to give us the opportunity to clarify some things. These are very loaded questions, and so far, I'm sorry, I have arrangements and I'm talking right now. So, these are very loaded questions, and this is not what we discussed, and this is not a conversation that we agreed to.
We were very clear that the questions
You're sitting there and just accusing, we're not here to face new allegations. This has all been discussed, answers have been provided, so if we could please move on from this side of the interview, I would appreciate it.
I would like to hear what Andrew's got to say about the fact that when you make controversial statements, it attracts people to follow you, and then you direct them to your website where they pay you a monthly fee to learn how to be like you. And so the more controversial statements you make, the more money you get.
Okay, interesting. So even to just engage in that thought experiment, to hear things that Tate's talking about, and then, he just drags all of his followers through his different money funnels that are out there where they learn tangible skills and make money. Oh no, it's terrible. The fuck are you complaining about? Where you learn to be like him? A successful multi-millionaire who's right now being caught between a rock and a hard place with some vengeful chicks that didn't end up blackmailing the bag? Okay.
That's the path you outlined to one, my online university, and two, my presence on the internet. The fact that you believe that's the path just shows you've done absolutely zero research.
Yeah.
Genuinely zero research.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University come to you through your social media?
Genuinely zero research.
How many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University come to you through your social media where you direct them to the website?
And Lucy, I encourage you to go out.
That would be really tough to figure out. Unless there's like an affiliate drop or an affiliate link directly from, I think like the only place he officially has left is Twitter, but that'd be really tough to track anything exact.
Out there, do some genuine research, watch my videos. Watch my videos at length, and truly understand what I'm doing.
How many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University at $49.99 a month come to you because they see your social media comments?
There's an online school called Hustlers University, which I don't own. I influence for, along with many other influencers, and they sign up for your website, which I don't own. And once again, that's nothing to do with me. And you're going to sit here and say that I made a joke. I made a joke online 4 years ago because a woman said that she owned her man's car, and you made a joke, and that means that you, because you're Bugatti, are the most misogynistic, dangerous man in the world. This is going down a path of absolute insanity. It's not true. None of this is true. I don't hurt people. I don't harm people. I'm genuinely a positive influence.
You are renowned.
I'm renowned
for offensive and controversial.
That's not why I'm renowned. I'm actually renowned. I'm actually renowned for helping young men.
Okay, I made the comparison that this might be the Cathy Newman situation. Cathy Newman, Jordan Peterson from Channel 4. This is more like that British GQ interview where it was just that top-tier feminist sitting across from Peterson and he was being exceptionally snippy. There's very little substance to this interview because there's a bunch of different questions that she could be asking where she could be getting some very inquisitive responses. Like, how do you think you found yourself in this situation? What did you say in your past that led you up to this moment? Why did you think it took so long for you to be at least released on house arrest? There's some interesting questions and there's some insightful knowledge that could be gleaned, but she came in with an agenda and we're never going to learn that. Obviously, you can check the time bar. There's not much time left and she doesn't seem to be letting up at all whatsoever.
Talk about there's a men's mental health crisis and we pretend to care that men are upset. But as soon as I discuss men's issues, it's misogynistic. It doesn't have to be gendered. Just because I believe men have a point of view and men have rights and men are allowed to think and believe and act a certain way that helps them internally, that doesn't mean it's anti-female. In fact, I believe it's actually pro-female. I think when a man is true to his influence and true to his essence and he's good within himself, he's a positive influence in the world. He's positive for the women around him.
So
just
why
because
are
I
so
discuss
many
men's
women-
issues, people say, oh, you're anti-woman. I'm not anti-woman, I love women.
Why are so many women saying that when their boyfriends start following you,
They're not.
they experience more control?
So many.
They experience
How many?
more abuse.
How many?
Enough.
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 Well, that's the first time I've
Enough.
So, in fact,
One is too many.
oh, of course, yeah. So, in fact, I've seen thousands and thousands of comments and have endless emails from women praising
Doesn't it worry you?
praising the fact that their sons are listening to me,
Does it not
praising
worry
the
you?
fact that their
The things I'm
husbands.
saying, does it not worry you?
It would worry. It would
You're
worry.
not concerned about it.
You have no numbers. You have nothing tangible. Oh, there's people that listen to you online and then they just immediately start feeding right uppercuts to their wives. And it's like, can you quantify that? One's too many. You're erecting all these straw mans, and Andrew's, yeah, he's knocking them down, but you're not getting to any substance at all whatsoever. Like, come on now. You have the propensity, you have the ability to do better, but you're not. So, oh well.
It would worry me if I was genuinely damaging the world. But for you to sit here and say, Andrew, you become the most Googled man in the world, you have billions of views, and one woman, is now saying that her husband is
I'm
not the same man she wants him to
representing
be, when thousands and thousands of people are saying the opposite, well then I would say
I've
that that's...
presented you with case after case after case, with quote after quote after quote of people who are genuinely concerned about the impact you're having, and you brush it off as if it's nothing.
No, what you have done is come here with an agenda, you come here with loaded questions, you come here with things taken out of context, you come here with things that you don't understand are satirical, and then you're going to also sit and say that one woman said that her boyfriend changed when he watched one of your videos, and then I don't know what you expect me to say to that. That's
sarcastic and jokes.
No.
That's how you explain
No,
the comments you
no,
make.
for you to sit down
Would you
and
like to apologise for any of them?
for you to sit down and for you to sit down.
That's all I do. We don't have to.
It's fine, no, it's fine, it's easy. For you to sit down and say that one woman said that her boyfriend watched an Andrew Tate video and now he won't do the dishes, or whatever your argument is, and that I'm somehow the worst, most dangerous man in the world because I have a car. It's just disingenuous, and I'm enjoying this interview very much because this shows the world. It's great. It shows the world the truth about the legacy media because they beg me for interviews. They beg me, you have been begging me for months, please.
Just to drag him across the coals with some pre-rehearsed questions. Fed him a line. It's like, oh, here's everything that we're going to be talking about. But in actuality, I just want to talk about how you want to cage these bitches up and that you just want to teach them a lesson. And it's like, we said nothing to the sorts. Shut up, misogynist.
Please, we need to be relevant. And then you come here with loaded questions trying to paint a picture of me, which is completely and utterly false. I am a good positive influence for the world. The things I teach men are stoicism, discipline, self-respect, hard work, obeying authority, listening to your flight coach, working hard in school, making as much money as possible in your job. If you actually watch the things I say, if you actually watch my comments about women, I've done long podcasts for hours long about females, talking about protecting for them, providing for them, how I believe women should be treated in a relationship. I've done all of this, but you don't watch any of it, and then you come here and ask me to answer questions I've answered at length thousands of times.
Since you came out of custody, there seems to have been a lot about your charity work.
Correct.
On your social
There's
media.
I've always done the charity work, but now I'm promoting it.
There seems to be a real shift.
Yeah.
I wonder what's behind that.
Well, I've always done the charity work. I've been doing the charity work for years. I believe that it's my legacy to leave a positive influence on the world, and I've been doing charity work for over 5 years, post my incarceration.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people have said that he's built, an orphanage, done a lot with stray dogs in Romania as well. Couple of other things as well, but now he's come forward, him and Tristan both on Twitter specifically, that's where I've been seeing it, but clean water initiatives, I think somewhere in northern Africa, I think Uganda, I'm pretty sure Uganda, but yeah, there was a specific organization set up down there. So yeah, it's a little bit more wholesome than it is inflammatory because yeah, he made his name, got all of his bones that way, and then he's just showing, okay, once you achieve a certain level of fame and fortune, there's not much else. You can continue to go and climb that ladder of fiduciary success, but in actuality, if you want to make an impact on the world, you can go do some good things. You see a lot of charities that are set up, just like Bono from U2, I think it's Red Foundation, where it's like 8% of the donations end up getting down to the ground. The rest of it's just kind of stuck in bureaucracy. And if you can cut out the middleman and go set that up, fantastic stuff. And yeah, if he's been doing it beforehand, and I'm sure that's verifiable. If you want to go check the receipts, if you think that, oh, this shift in tonality is to just try to clean up your image. No, maybe it's a point in time where, okay, cool, you guys all think that I'm a total ass clown and that all I do is just, joke and dunk on chicks. Okay, cool. Here's what else I do at the same time. All of the detractors that are out there, they'll just hide behind anime avatar pictures and just lob insults. Oh, you're bald. Oh, we got this weird screenshot where you just look totally chinless. Okay, cool, fantastic. You haven't been able to see your feet in 3 decades, but you're over here lobbing insults at a 4-time kickboxing world champion. Fantastic stuff that you have there. So yeah, might as well flex on the broke boys. You already got them with a $5 million car. Now you can go do it with actually making change in the world. This isn't quite the dunk that you think it's going to be there, BBC lady. Lucy, right? We're friends, of course.
My unfair, unjust incarceration, may I add. Post that, I've made it more clear the charity work I'm doing. But this is, once again, very interesting. I spend $25 million a year feeding children. Men, male children, and female children. In Turkey, and Syria, and Iran, and Iraq. I literally spend $25 million a year feeding children. And I'm still the worst man in the world because 4 years ago I made a sarcastic comment.
Because some people would look at that and say, okay, so before you got money from attracting people to your...
And then you get the power, and then you get the women.
...your website by making controversial comments, but that might have got you into trouble. And so now you're looking for a new market. You're looking for a new market of followers who are attracted by a different sort of persona.
I've always done the charity work, so that is obviously incorrect. And I have proof that I've always done the charity work, so you're wrong.
Oh, okay.
Personally.
Yeah,
I believe that if you have a lot of wealth, you should help people, and I'm helping people. I also think it's very, very interesting that you could not find another celebrity in the UK or anywhere else who's spending £25 million a year feeding children in war-torn countries.
Oh, you could probably point out a fair few celebrities in the UK that have done other things with children. Not quite charity work, though.
I'm doing that, and I've been doing that for a long time without even mentioning it. I never even said it. And now that I've said it, people are going to attack me for it and say that it's disingenuous. The person in Sudan who's eating the meal,
oh,
do you
Sudan,
think they believe
that's
it's disingenuous? No, I think they feel pretty good that Andrew Tate fed them. And to sit here and say that I'm a bad person now because I'm manipulating charity, because I'm using charity, I'm just trying to do good in the world. That's all I've ever been trying to do.
When women speak out against you online, disagree with what you say, they describe being bombarded with rape threats, with death threats, trolling by your followers. Would you like
show receipts or it didn't happen? We've been through this 1,000 times over, but is he directing anybody to bombard literally anybody? Absolutely not. So to try to put that on him, you're just going to get the same response that Piers Morgan got when he tried to do the exact same thing. Oh, there was this girl who committed self-delation over in the UK about bullying that happened online. Are you against that, Andrew? It's like, don't fucking put that on me, stupid.
Like to say anything to your followers about how to behave in that situation?
Absolutely correct. I would love to do that. First things first, I've yet to see a female stand up and argue with me online. I don't ever see hardly any. The only women who message me agree with me. Secondly, I don't think that anybody who disagrees with me, male or female, should be trolled. I don't think they should be insulted or attacked. I think the ideas should be discussed openly and fairly and maturely. It doesn't matter if a man agrees with me or disagrees with me, or a female. I don't think my followers should come along and attack her, and if my followers are doing that, I'm upset by that. But let's make a very important clarification. That's not my followers. That's the internet. If you were to log into any video game lobby, I don't play video games, and someone were to
every fucking comment section ever, just because somebody puts up in some of the bigger videos that are online, you can find somebody discussing Star Wars, gardening, home building, auto repair. It really doesn't much matter. It has nothing to do with actually what's going on in the substance of the video. That's just what happens when people get together. Fuck shit ends up happening. Hell, in some of my bigger videos, you might be able to find some weird stuff that's in the comment sections as well. I don't know. A lot of people just leave the comment sections open, leave the chats open. That's why I like to do the live streams, because at least I have the opportunity to just hop in the chat and interact with everybody once in a while. I like that. That is preferential to me, because those are the people who actually fuck with the message, who fuck with the content, who want to come through and have a more personalized, maybe a little bit more intimate, without any of the gay shit, but a more of an intimate experience. And yeah, I don't control what you guys do. I don't control where you guys go after this, what you do. If you want to stick around for the entirety of the stream, if you don't want to, that's totally fine. I don't really care. All I do is present my ideas to the most honest interpretation that I possibly can. Tate does the exact same thing at a obviously much higher level. It's still, at the end of the day, he's not controlling hordes. He's not over there going, you go attack over there, you guys go get that, okay, circle around back, and you go find and you go dox that individual. He's not saying that at all whatsoever. And again, if there's any sort of threats or anything like that, provide receipts. But chances are it's probably just you a dumb hoe, probably just spelt incredibly bad and has poor grammar. Okay, that's nothing. That's welcome to the internet. That's day one shit.
Sit there and say something stupid, they would be trolled with similar comments. That's the unfortunate reality of the internet as a whole. That's nothing to do with me. But I encourage all of my followers to engage in open discourse and be fair and honest and talk in a way which is mature. There's no need to troll anybody, male or female.
Okay.
Cathy, anything?
A couple things.
Yo, what an L interview. That was terrible. Holy fuck. I thought that there would be at least something of substance there, but...
I wonder if it would be worth giving Andrew one more opportunity to consider whether or not he would like to apologise or give an indication of how he feels about the allegations that he has negatively influenced young people in the UK. And secondly, I think we should put on record that this interview is taking place in your house because you're under house arrest. If it were not for that, then we would have chosen another location, I'm sure. We would have negotiated that between us. So I think that's just worth putting on record.
Okay. So just to put on the record then, you said that you've invited us into your house.
Correct.
We're here because you're under house arrest.
Correct.
If you were free to leave, we would have negotiated a more neutral setting.
Don't you think, as the BBC, it would be very interesting to come here and discuss the fact that I was put in a dungeon for 92 days and then locked in house arrest without charge? Don't you think that's a far more interesting conversation than old YouTube snippets? Don't you think that would be interesting?
You're here under house arrest because there's an ongoing investigation into rape and human trafficking allegations against you.
Correct. I've been incarcerated without charge. And don't you think
The rape allegation is
it's been dropped?
has been incarcerated for.
Correct. So I'm
Is that true? That's breaking news. I haven't heard that one before.
incarcerated without charge, and I think that'd be a far more interesting conversation than I guess Julian Assange is incarcerated without charge, and nobody's interested in that either. So if you actually wanted to do some genuine journalism investigation, we could talk about the fact that an innocent man who is yet to be charged with a crime has had his liberty deprived of him. And I think that would be a far more interesting angle than talking about me being the most dangerous man in the world sat in the car.
And this question about schools being very worried about your influence.
Yes.
Boys in primary school, or boys as young as 11 are quoting you at school,
Yeah.
attacking girls, refusing to respect female teachers.
Yeah.
Would you like to say anything about that?
I'd like to say a lot. First things first, as I've repeatedly said, and the only reason I keep repeating it is because I'm sure this interview will be edited. I am a positive force for the world, and I teach children discipline. I teach the world discipline, male or female, of any age. And a lot of women listen to me as well. 40% of people who listen to me are actually female. Secondly, I do understand with my massive influence, and I'm
I
now
don't know
the
how
most
you could
influential
know
people on
that,
the planet,
but
that I
okay.
do have to be slightly more careful with things I say. I'm not going to disagree with that. The idea that I said something 5 years ago on a video that got 300 views.
So what do you mean, being slightly more careful?
I'll give you an example. Some of the jokes I made 4 or 5 years ago on a YouTube channel that got 300 views, I would no longer make.
Like what?
Like the OnlyFans joke, the one you mentioned repeatedly.
Like the machete. Well, it was a joke, but the statement that you read out, obviously it's significantly different when you play the full context. But no, he doesn't make the videos where he's lying in bed anymore. They're a little bit more professional now because he's a more professional man. He's got a bigger spotlight on him. So yeah, the content changes. Imagine that, BBC. Shit evolves. Wow, big shock.
When she said, "My man's car is my car," and then she said she did OnlyFans, and I said, "What do you sell on OnlyFans?" She said, "My tits," and I said, "Well, those are your man's tits." As a joke, ha ha ha. Everybody laughed. The fact that I could do that on a podcast 5 years
so
ago
funny.
and got 300 views. Now I understand I'm the most influential man on the face of
Hey, come on, that podcast got more than 300 views, but she doesn't know that, so he can get away with that.
the planet. I would be more careful with certain things I say. That doesn't mean the things I originally said were genuinely out to harm people.
Do you really believe you're the most influential man on the face of the planet?
I'm the most Googled person on the planet.
Do you
Yeah. At one point in time, definitely during last summer, you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't scroll the internet without seeing this dude's name. So with that amount of exposure, it would be really tough, especially somebody who's talking the way that he was in the realms that he was. That'd be tough to argue against. It's definitely an interesting and thought-provoking topic. You could have delved into that if you weren't being so combative, though.
believe you're the most influential man on the face of the planet?
I'm the most Googled man on the planet.
I think we're done.
What a travesty. Holy shit.
Thanks, Lucy.
Oh, as Ed was saying, yo, that bitch totally got fucking owned. Terribly owned.
Enjoyable. Nice to meet you. No, it was fun. It was good. I enjoyed it. D-mic me. I don't want to damage anything.
Oh, no. Okay, good.
Very nice to meet you, Lucy. Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Refuses to shake Andrew's hand. Oh, he's an abuser. I wouldn't touch an abuser. What a bitch. You're in his house. He invites you into his house. You don't even have the common decency to shake his hand. Female privilege on display right there, because a guy would have got a fucking, slap across the face. Probably not while he's under home arrest. He could have had a security guard do that for him.
Goodbye. It's a very polite staff.
Yeah.
Richard, do you want to go with them to get them?
Holy shit. So, yeah, there it is in totality. And then we got just the little buffer video here at the end because Tate had a little response a couple of days after. Okay, so his statement to... what's this one called? Okay. Andrew's statement to the mainstream media. All right, then. This one's only, 13 minutes long. We'll see how this one goes. Obviously, I can still see everything up on... I think I can see everything up. Oh, no. That got paused or some shit like that? Looks like it. We'll see. As long as we're still live. Yeah, no, we're still live. We're live, pal. Okay, just making sure everything's all fine. Turn on captions for the audience. Tate's talks too fast sometimes. I was trying to, Ryan. There's just no closed caption over here. I would if I could, but I can't, so I won't. Oh no, misogynist.
In the interest of saving absolutely everybody's time,
All right.
I feel like doing a generalized statement to all legacy media inside of the Matrix.
That's a cool lamp. Kind of want one.
And I'm doing it to save their time and mine, as well as protect the minds of the masculine youth for the future.
Okay.
I want to make it very clear that the legacy media, which I enjoyed the company of today, have made a massive mistake and missed a chance to do some genuinely interesting journalism.
Yeah, I think after we watch that all in totality, so many missed opportunities. You had just about 40 minutes to ask any substantive question, but you didn't. You've said this thing online. Let me make you answer for it. And it's like, it's nothing that Tate hasn't faced before by lesser people, or at least lesser credentialed individuals. Like, okay, it was going up against bitchy Hassan. Fantastic. Great. What are you going to get out of that?
After being unfairly incarcerated in a Romanian dungeon, I thought that even the BBC, in its absolute arrogance and hubris, would be smart enough to come to me after 6 months, being the first interview I gave to the Matrix, and be smart enough to ask questions people were genuinely interested in. What's it like inside of a Romanian prison cell?
Oh shit, yeah. These were the questions that I think we were batting back and forth during that interview. I also don't know if this one's going to get copyright claimed, so I'm just pausing a lot.
How were you treated? Why was a person's liberty deprived of them for 6 months without charge?
Yeah.
How was your mental state post your unfair incarceration? Things people are genuinely interested in hearing. But instead, they came with the same old talking points. And I'd like to address all of these talking points to the Matrix media now to prevent this happening again, because it's a monumental waste of everybody's time.
Oh, poor Andrew. You know they're not going to watch this. They haven't watched anything else beforehand, but good on them, I guess. It will give us a good refresher. How about that?
I say things on the internet. I've been making content on the internet for a very long time. Finding a clip from 2016, 8 years ago, finding a 4-hour-long podcast from 2016, ignoring all context, ignoring everything positive I say about men and women in the world, and taking a single sentence and trying to pretend that's my entire worldview is not the bombshell you think it is.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Everybody understands what satire is. Everybody understands what a joke is. Everybody understands it's the internet. Everybody understands all of these things. Plus, the people who know the truth of my message are very capable of understanding what is satirical and what is true. People are not as stupid as you'd like them to be.
Yeah.
Sitting down with me and missing the chance to have a genuinely interesting interview with genuinely interesting questions that people are interested in hearing the answers to, and instead attempting this attack to get this bombshell aha moment is never going to work. Because one, I'm too smart for all of you. And two, nobody cares. Nobody cares I made a joke 8 years ago, because everybody knows I was joking. And everybody knows the truth of my message. So you're wasting absolutely everybody's time. Worse than wasting everybody's time, what you're genuinely doing is damaging the minds of young men. And I think I have a responsibility as one of the most influential men on the planet to protect the minds of young men and all of the men who look up to me. Nobody, no young man below the age of 30 has any interest in what the BBC or the legacy media say. They don't care and they don't watch it.
I think the demographics... Oh, fuck. I heard somebody opine on this. The average age of a BBC viewer is that it's fairly equivalent to a Fox News viewer. It's in the early 50s. Like, legitimately, nobody watches this shit anymore. And what was it? Year over year, 40% fewer households. It was either over a year or over a decade have cable television anymore. And you got to pay a license fee in order to watch BBC. in the UK. So yeah, and those are going through the floor as well. It's real tough. He's not wrong at all. And unfortunate pause screen. Sorry, Tate.
Unless I appear on there. So when I sit across from a reporter who says that having a nice car makes you a misogynist, it's disingenuous.
Use
And
that
also,
image
also,
for financial success
correct.
with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
Because it's all mixed together in what you teach.
I find that to be extremely dangerous rhetoric. I find that to be extremist rhetoric. And I think it's very dangerous for young men to think if they work hard for something in their lives, if they dedicate themselves and they're diligent and hardworking and they try hard, that they'll be a bad person. I hate the idea of a world where a man who dedicates himself to excellence so he can enjoy the finer things in life is criticized and ostracized and called horrible names purely because he's been a hardworking male. And I don't like young men hearing these extremist ideas. And they're only going to hear these extremist ideas if they watch the BBC, which is an extremist organization. And they're only going to watch the BBC if I talk to the BBC. So I feel like now that these people have proved themselves to be extremist and very damaging to the minds of young men, I have an obligation to not interact with them very much because I don't want them spreading their extremist propaganda.
No, exactly. You only give them... he only gives them oxygen enough so that they put him on, but then after that, it's just like CNN's ratings when Trump did that town hall that was right there. Oh, excuse me. I hadn't seen the ratings from the Nikki Haley town hall that apparently happened on Sunday. We talked about, and it's like, oh yeah, we might watch that to see if, it's a cringe or anything like that. It had already happened by the time that we streamed on Sunday. So, all right then, but no, it's... These failing organizations, they just come and go. They're only relevant based on the guests that they have because of their own inability to create stars that people actually want to go and see. Hollywood's had this problem for a long time where there are no movie stars anymore. There are no television stars. There really are no vehicles that are on broadcast television at all whatsoever. Nobody sits down and watches a show. What is a big societal show on the level of Cheers or The Simpsons or The Sopranos or even Game of Thrones for a lesser extent? What is something that everybody is at least aware of or something that somebody watches consistently? There hasn't been one of those things. Probably the last one was probably The Big Bang Theory. And think of that what you will, but at least it was known by people. But the shit that's on television right now, it's laughable. And then just extrapolate that further to who are the news hosts right now. Like, you would know the names Walter Cronkite, Tom Brokaw. Like, you would know those guys. Who's hosting ABC tonight? Who's hosting NBC tonight? You don't know the people anymore. There's nothing to be gained by interacting with those people. So it's like, fuck you, pay me. Otherwise, sayonara, see you later. I'll be here on the place that actually gets eyeballs, like Rumble or YouTube, independent media. So, hey man, catch up or be left behind. That's what BBC, and that's what CNN, all of those other broadcast networks. And that's what I've kind of thought about as well. And I know that I put it down on video a fair few times that, mass media is definitely going to try to co-opt YouTube. You can take a look by their branding, the way that they're advertising themselves, the way that they've integrated, especially the big news channels, the cable news channels. They're going to try to come over and take over because the independent creators are too much of a liability. So that's why I'm really happy that Rumble is in the shape that it's in right now. So
we have a men's mental health crisis. Young men are disenfranchised. The suicide rate amongst men is much higher than women. And everybody pretends to care. But when I come along and say, I am a man, I've been a man, I know how it feels to be a sad man and a happy man, and I found happiness through masculine achievement and strength, through working hard in the gym, through dedicating myself, through building a life worth living, through taking care of the people who I love, both male and female, through becoming financially successful, through sticking up for myself, through having opinions, through being a man of honor and courage. Yeah. When I do these things, I'm ostracized, and they're attempting to destroy my life. This goes beyond a few media interviews. They are attempting to put me in jail and destroy my life because I am helping young men. Mm-hmm. They don't care about men's mental health. They have no interest at all. In fact, the ideas they purport, like I've just explained, are genuinely damaging to the mindset of young men.
Traitors, okay, why it's so important to see men cry on reality TV. That's an entire topic in and of itself, but long story short is you have to take a look at the conditions of reality television, the fact that they get very little sleep, very little good food, and then an overabundance of alcohol. yeah, you're kind of on edge that's over there, and then to try to purport that reality television is in any way, shape, or form a reflection of today's of the actual world that's out there, it's false. It's not fair at all whatsoever. And yeah, seeing men cry, again, that's another big topic in and of itself. I'm staunchly against it, but hey man, like I said, another topic, another time.
On top of this, they waste everybody's time because their aha moment never works. Nobody's interested in it. And I destroy them with ease.
Yes.
But my hourly rate is high. It's not very fun for me to do. I just do it. It has to be done. But I don't particularly enjoy it. I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals.
Is that a
we are
different
people. We're
camera
citizens
angle?
of the world, and we sit here as equals. And I see you as my equal, and if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo, and that you don't have to answer my questions, is disingenuous because I don't owe you anything.
asking questions and you answer.
But I don't owe, no,
however you want.
this is a conversation, and I don't owe you any degree of authority over me. So let's make that clear. And that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or from the BBC or the CNN. I'm here to answer your questions and be honest with you and do you a favor.
Great.
And I'm doing you a favor, but you come here with loaded questions, you're trying to paint a narrative of me which is negative.
I'm asking you
And
about
that's
things
fine.
you've said that people are concerned about.
And that's fine,
You
but
have
you're not
said
going to sit here and say you don't answer my questions because you're not above me. So, in the interest of spreading good and positivity in the world, which is my number one objective, I am making this clear to all legacy media outlets. I will no longer interact with you for free. Nobody cares if you lie about me, and nobody cares what you say. You have destroyed all of your credibility in the last 4 years of constantly lying about everything. And continuing to lie about me will only destroy your credibility further.
Well, I think that went by fast
I
enough.
have an organization called Tate Pledge, which you can see. Go to CobraTate.com and click at Tate Pledge, and you will see that I dedicate $25 million a year to feeding children, both male and female, in war-torn countries. I would like to think that even the legacy media can agree that feeding children in Sudan,
I've seen
or
that
Turkish
picture.
children
Okay,
after an
that's what it
earthquake,
was.
or Syrian children in refugee camps is a pretty positive thing to do for the world.
No, you're just doing that for virtue signaling points, bro. Shut up.
In my last BBC interview, she tried to spin it and say that what I'm doing is somehow negative because I'm only doing it for myself. But this is the level of delusion these people operate on.
Because some people would look at that and say, okay, so before you got money from attracting people to your website by making controversial comments, but that might have got you into trouble. And so now you're looking for a new market. You're looking for a new market of followers who are attracted by a different sort of persona.
I've always done the charity work, so that is obviously incorrect. And I have proof that I've always done the charity work, so you're wrong. Tate Pledge is funded 100% by me. This is my personal money. But I believe if the legacy media is intent on spreading hate, intent on spreading extremist ideologies, which it seems they are, not only the extremist ideology that men shouldn't work hard, but also a bunch of other ones, which I don't need to mention because most thinking people understand what the legacy media is trying to purport on not only the population, but the young children of the world. And what they are trying to push is far more damaging than me saying you should go to the gym.
Haram. Haram.
Therefore, I no longer have any interest with interacting with the legacy media for free because I don't want their extremist views shown to young children without doing some good for the world. My fee from this point onwards is $50,000 and a box of chocolates. That is
This motherfucker said in a box of chocolates.
what it is going to cost you to speak to me. If you are from the Matrix, you will give me $50,000 in advance, which will be donated to Tate Pledge, which will be used to feed children in war-torn countries. And you will also bring a box of chocolates to my gate, which I will ingest as I listen to your Matrix propaganda and destroy you. Because I deserve chocolate if I have to put up with you. I am an extremely successful man, and my time is valuable. And you're wasting mine, yours, and everybody else's. So if you're going to come along with your extremist ideas, I would at least sleep better at night if you were feeding some poor innocent children somewhere in the world. But you have no interest in doing any good for the earth. You're only interested in spreading hate, unlike me who wants to do good things. So, post my BBC interview, I've been contacted by the New York Times, CNN, the Clinton News Network.
If he's worried about his life,
All of them. And they're all desperate to interview me because they understand the number of views it will get. I want to try now. I want to try now. And they all want to try a different version of the same aha moment. Not understanding, because they're completely detached from reality, that it's not an aha moment and nobody cares. They're not interested. They're not smart enough to look at the board of the chessboard and say, this isn't going to work. Let's ask him questions people actually...
Oh, because he made reference to that table, I think that's the one. Because if you guys remember back when they raided his house in, oh my God, what was that, December or some shit like that? They said that they found firearms. That's that table that has it has a Glock in there as well. You can see the other things that are in there as well. Like there's I think it looks like a credit card, looks like something else, and you can see a watch in there as well. Like it's a very expensive custom-made table with a bunch of cool shit that's inside of it. there's no way that you can get inside of it at all. It's all perfectly encased, and it's just there simply for display. But I just wanted to mention that because that's a fucking baller table.
Actually care about. They're not that smart. So if you want to waste your time and mine, that's what it's going to cost you. $50,000. I managed to procure meals at around 80 cents each, so we'll feed over 60,000 children for wasting an hour of my time, plus a box of chocolates. That is my fee from this point forward. I will still...
Oh, the BBC just ruined it for everybody. Oh, wow. Imagine that. The BBC ruined something.
Still speak to non-matrix media outlets who are interested in the truth, interested in asking interesting questions that people want to hear the answers to. I will still be available to do my own podcast and tell the truth. But as long as legacy media retain their reputation as peddlers of extremist ideology, I no longer have any interest in promoting them and making them relevant. It's better we allow them to become irrelevant, which they are doing, through their own dishonest actions. I will no longer interact with any of you for free ever again. So, to the 64 journalists who have emailed me so far since the BBC interview, do you have $50,000 in a box of chocolates?
Oh, fuck, that's more than their yearly salary.
Because I'm not interested in speaking to you for any other reason. I actually think I'm being quite kind only charging 50 grand. I should charge 200 grand.
Yeah.
But I'm a nice man. And $50,000 will still feed a lot of children. I promise any legacy media outlet that pays me the fee can have an interview. And I also promise to provide full accounting and receipts to prove that that money goes directly to charity to feeding children in war-torn countries. But I will no longer allow the matrix propaganda machine to infect the minds of innocent children by using my relevance to achieve interviews and get views they would never normally get to spread hateful propaganda. If you can't afford me, you're gonna have to go back to just lying about me without speaking to me. Because God knows the truth, I know the truth, most of the world knows the truth, and I genuinely believe that Allah is the best of planners, and whatever happens to me, regardless of whether I am martyred, regardless of whether they put a bullet in my brain, I know what I have done is good for the world, and the things I will do will continue to be good for the world. Get your checkbooks out, or don't email me at all, because there will be no compromise. I don't care what you try and do and say to goad me into an interview. You can lie about me all you want. It's what you do already. I'm not afraid of your lies. It's going to cost 50 grand plus a box of chocolates.
Don't be broke. Aha. Don't think there's anything else. At least it sounds like royalty-free music. I hope so. Looks like it. Oh, yeah, that's just the end. That's right there. So, yes, sir. It's interesting, because I got one little follow-up before we close it out right here. And it's kind of interesting. You might see a tweet that's up there as well, but as somebody pointed out, I don't know who this Gunnar Miller cat is, but my instincts tell me that Patrick David is going to right the wrong of the BBC world and interview Cobra Tate in his home. Valuetainment is perfect for this. Interesting, shall we, is what he responded with. And if you guys have watched that 4-hour-long interview that I think it's on the podcast side, the first hour where they just go back and forth about Logan Paul and a bunch of goofy-ass internet shit, I think it's probably one of the best interviews that's out there. Not just a Tate interview, just in general. It's very, very good, and I would highly recommend it if nobody's watched it yet. And yeah, do feel free to correct that injustice that's out there. And if you can get over some of the asides that are just thrown in by Adam Susnick. So yeah, it's very good. And yeah, he definitely, I know that both of those camps are definitely in close communications. So it could be interesting, and it would actually be an insightful interview because, yeah, life behind bars, still don't have that story. Nobody's put that out there, but yeah, I can show you. Let's just see here. Yeah, the emergency meeting that's already ready to go. 18,000 thumbs up on that one already. June 4th at 4 p.m. Is that Eastern time? So that would be 2 o'clock for me, and yeah, so that's 4 o'clock out east, I think. Eastern Daylight Time. I think that's what it is. So yeah, that'll be going live, next Wednesday. So maybe we'll get insight, or maybe it'll just be kind of a shit talker cast. But regardless, it'll be fun, and we'll have something to talk about. But it's interesting. So yeah, Saturday. Who's in there that was bringing that up? I just need to make sure that I get the name correct on this one. Longreach, do you think that Timcast episode is worthy of at least peeking in on? Because we might be able to do that on Saturday, depending on what Holy fuck, brain's dying in real time. Yeah, depending on if there's any Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump interesting speeches that come out, because everybody else is just fucking boring when it comes to that stuff. Otherwise, we could just go back to reacting to a bunch of stuff as well. Either or. If you think that's worth time, just let me know in the chat or whatever. We could run that back. And but I do have an idea. I have an idea for, it'll be the 25th of June Rumble exclusive stream. Now, this seems like something that could be coming completely out of left field, and if you guys don't like it, that's totally fine and whatever. I can watch it after the fact, but there's going to be a big pro wrestling event. I know, it sounds totally fucking gay for bringing this up, but I like the event that's going to be coming up. It's the AEW New Japan show. If you guys want to watch like a watch-along stream, and I'd do it on Rumble so that we could have, like the event over here in the display as well, so that, yeah, we could be watching it right here and then just going back and forth. It'd be like 4 hours long. We could just kind of have a big, communication and talk like that. But if you guys want to do that, maybe I'll just put up a poll, like a formal poll over on Locals, which I need to do more Locals stuff over there. Some like IRL streams now that there's no snow really hanging in the air, or smoke, not snow. There's not going to be any snow. Oh, please God, for at least a little while. So yeah, got that. Yeah, got Locals that's over there. I don't plug it at all. I need to update some shit as well. I need to do a lot of shit, but it's only a one-man show, and content always comes first, all the tertiary shit afterwards. So I think we should be back on schedule. Should be back on Saturday, as long as power and internet doesn't go out, and everything else will be fine after that. But allow me to run through the chat here and give everybody their due for turning up, and I really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you very, very much for turning out. Ed, of course, being exceptionally generous on the YouTube side, and then just chilling over here in the super based Rumble chat as well. Meme, of course, George, if you're still kicking around in there, shout out to you. That's these are some OGs that are over here as well, and then you got Rookie in here as well earlier, and then Michael Gabriel Music. Shout out to you, man. But yeah, over on the Rumble side, some good stuff and a really good turnout over here. Holy shit, man! I know. You guys have probably already seen this interview multiple times before, so no, for sure. Oops, I made dinner before it started and I forgot about it, and the dogs. Oh shit! Yeah, that fucking sucks. Oh, that sucks, man. It was so bad. It went sour over there. Yeah, we'll take a look. And Dark Meta, yeah, thanks for turning up, man. You're always hilarious in the chat as well. And Ron, I haven't seen you in here. It's been a minute. Here comes another Alex Jones and Tate team up. Oh yeah, on InfoWars. Oh yeah, you can definitely bet on that one. But no, glad you turned up for this one. And Marcus Seneca, he adopted some really fucking base names in order to come up with that username. First time I remember seeing you in the chat, but hopefully you come back around again. It was good talking to you as well. Dark, of course, I already called you out. Who else was in here as well? You guys are just blowing up the chat. I love it. I love to see it. And then Mark Barry, another name that I don't think that I've seen in here before, but shout out to you, man, for turning out. I appreciate it. It was really good talking to you as well. Who else do we have in here as well? I think I pretty much got everybody. Oh, and the Manu. I don't think I called you out by name, but no, I've seen you in here. You guys were in here early and often, and I do appreciate that as well. But yeah, Christ almighty. As for content that's going to be coming out tomorrow, because I like to give you guys just a little bit of a heads up. Fuck, man. I had a video planned for today, and it's going to sound a little bit fucked up coming out. It'll probably come out tomorrow regardless anyways, because it's reasonably time sensitive. It was about Tim Scott dunking on those bitches on The View. There's just no place to put it today, because you had the fucking fake hate crime with stupid Elliot Page, and then you had... Target doing some fuck shit, and then even still in the background they're doing other fuck shit as well, so that has to get pushed off to tomorrow. And then you have Budweiser Heavy doing some really, really heinous stuff that I'm not exactly all that happy about, so I'll be talking about that tomorrow. And then Lululemon. I don't know if you guys are aware of the controversy that's over there, where a couple of chicks ended up getting fired for chasing after shoplifters. Yeah, they got fired for chasing after shoplifters because... I don't know, man. Like I said, we need to go in and dig a little bit deeper into that situation. So I want to do that. I definitely want to do that when we get in there. So make sure I didn't miss anything else as well. But yeah, written myself a nice check. Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, it went sour over there. It was so bad. We might, yeah, okay. So it looks like by LRO, and it looks like at least tuning into some of that Timcast might be worth our time just to dunk on some idiots. Could be fun. But yeah, we'll probably have some backup. I think I've seen a Jubilee panel go on as well, but yeah, we'll have something fun. We'll have something fun cooked up on Saturday. Could put out a poll if I think of multiple things as well, but try to go more interactive. Now that everything is hopefully on a good schedule. But I appreciate you guys turning out for this one. This was actually a hell of a lot of fun. Glad I waited to watch this with all of you guys. You guys make doing these streams probably some of the favorite. Yeah, definitely the most satisfying shit that I do. There we go. My favorite type of content. Like I said, my fucking brain's going to shit. I'm going to go have a bite to eat. So, with all that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.